did watch. I did watch Monday Night Raw. Now I watched it on Speed Search.
I was going to say, when you mentioned about giving an olive branch to Jimmy, you should have done what Kevin Owens did and did a bowl of olives to Jimmy. Maybe that'll work.
Bowl of olives. Did he do that?
Yeah, that's what he did last night. Yeah, to Finn Balor, a bowl of olives.
I didn't. Well, that's how Speed Search I was watching. I didn't see that part. I was scanning through a lot of shit. I promise you. I did watch a lot of the girl stuff because you have to. It's there. They open the show. Hell, oftentimes they close the show. With the main event. That's why I think the women should get their own show on Wednesday nights. I truly believe that. I think Wednesday nights ought to be dedicated to the women. Hell, they got 8 women in the goddamn ladder match or the Money in the Bank or whatever the fuck they call it, where they stole my briefcase idea.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
There was no briefcase in the WWE before they come down and saw mine. Lagana will probably tell you that. Dave Lagana, he loved the briefcase. He wanted to bring me up and implement the briefcase, but
he's at Impact now, isn't he?
I think he is. I don't know that for a fact, but I think he is. But Dave and I always got along. But they said behind the scenes that Jimmy was cock blocking me, that Jimmy didn't want me up there, that I would have stolen some of his sunshine, some of his ray, that they could have attached all these names to me in the WWE, from Cena to Mark Henry to Lance Cade to Rico to all the various ones that were working with me that got up there. And that with Jimmy, basically, you got the Midnight Express, who were already, let's face it, they were famous before Jimmy got a hold of them in the Memphis area. Mm-hmm. Yokozuna, like he needed Jimmy. He was pretty goddamn famous before Jimmy got a hold of him. And then there was that disaster with the other Midnight Express. That didn't go so well. Did they make 4 weeks? they weren't around long. But what else can you attach Jimmy to? Name me the one talent that Jimmy elevated from dirt, like I did with Cena, with Rico, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Brock Lesnar, all the various ones that I worked with and managed and developed. Who can you attach Jimmy to? And I'm not shitting on Jimmy. I'm just telling you the truth. Jimmy likes to shit on me all the time. I'm just pointing out facts. Name me the guy from dirt that Jimmy Cornette elevated.
There's not one, really.
There's not one, exactly. Because I know him as good as anybody. I've known him 40-something years. If there was a guy out there that Jimmy took from dirt and made into a star, you know what? The closest things I might be able to give him credit for, or maybe some of the guys, because let's call a spade a spade. Mm-hmm. There were some guys in Smoky Mountain that would not probably have gotten a chance had it not been for Jimmy. Now, I think Jericho and Lance Storm would have got a chance. It's just they happened to have stopped off in Smoky Mountain first before they got there, because they were doing all right in Canada before they got here.
Right.
And they were the thrill seekers down there, if I remember correctly.
They were, yeah.
And always liked Jericho from the first time I met him. And then he went to WCW. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think Jericho was going to become that big of a star. I thought WCW was killing him. The Lionheart Chris Jericho, I don't think it was just catching on. And then the day he came out and went toe-to-toe with Rock on the promo on the very first show, it was evident, man, he was the biggest star in the WWE, maybe other than The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And
they're going to be live in that same building. They're going to be live in that same building this Sunday.
Oh, are they?
That's where Rosemont Horizon or Allstate Arena. That's where Money in the Bank's at.
I'll be damn. I did not remember that. But there's a lot of things I don't remember because I'm getting old, folks. So for those of you that bitch that my eyes are closed most of the time, it's a light sensitivity issue that I've had for quite some time. And some days are better than others. I mean, as I look into the deflection of the camera right now, I can see my eyes are kind of open. But there's sometimes, man, I just relax and then the light takes over and you wouldn't think I could see the microphone in front of me. So that's part of that.
How do you feel about Brian Last says Lance Storm is never a draw?
Is there anybody that Brian Last doesn't trash who, let's face it, Brian Last's claim to fame is that he got to host a show that featured Cornette and myself. Did anybody ever hear of Brian Last before then? He also did commentary on the show that I was on in 1997, to where I was in the ring 5 times. Marlena was one of them. And Sonny no-showed, so I got extra time. I got the time that Sonny didn't get. So I was in the ring like 5 times that night. And what has he done that he is entitled to say one negative word about not only Lance Storm, or he also trashed Lance Russell. I hear he trashed Bobby Heenan, and name me the guy that he's qualified to say a negative word about. Like he would know any difference as to what a draw is and what a draw isn't. Was Lance Storm a top 4 draw in the WWE? Not that I recall, but it does take an entire roster. If many people have pointed out that I give people shit, well, that motherfucker couldn't draw money if you gave him an ink pen and a head start on the dollar sign. But it takes an entire roster, and Lance Storm was a very, very good part of that roster. He was very good with the Thrill Seekers, and I don't know where he comes off even offering opinion. He doesn't even have the right to offer opinion. I barely have the right to offer an opinion on that. I mean, I was a manager, but I wasn't a wrestler. I wasn't a mid-card wrestler.
Tracy said he trashed Jim Ross too before.
He did. And Jimmy lets him get by with that shit, which is how desperate Jimmy is for a co-host, or how desperate Jimmy is for somebody to edit his shows for free. You know, because that's what he is. He's a ball sucker. He sucks the balls of the people that he wishes that he was like, or could be a part of, or have done the things that they've done. And that's all he's ever been. So he thinks he gets a little bit of notoriety when he trashes great people. And Lance Storm's a great person. I mean, Lance gives me some shit on Twitter every now and then. But he knows that both of us hate our president. Canada hates him worse than ever now after the shit that went down up there. And but Storm's a buddy of mine. And Storm will be the first one to tell you that he wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock or Chris Jericho. And Jericho was his partner. And I'm pretty sure that Storm would tell you that Jericho was the bigger of the stars. But Lance Storm had a niche. He runs a fine training center, one of the better ones up in Canada right now. And why Jimmy would let him. Now, did he do this on Jimmy's show, or that 602 shit that he does, or what did he do this on?
I'm not sure. Somebody just said he trashed him. I'm not a fan of him. I don't follow him. I don't keep up with him at all. So
yeah, well, less and less people do, because more and more people are seeing why I left that show, why I didn't want anything to do with Brian Last. And it had nothing to do with Jimmy, other than that Jimmy got mad at me for working with Vince Russo. Well, I wasn't going to work with Brian Last, and I didn't ask Jimmy to quit being friends with Brian Last because I realized Jimmy needs him. Jimmy needs a flunky, a trained monkey, to do his shit for him, because Jimmy can't do this podcast on his own. Well, guess what? I need what's your name again?
It's Daniel Spencer.
Daniel.
Come on now.
I need Daniel Spencer, because he does a lot of shit that I don't know how to do. But that's not the only reason that I associate with Daniel. Daniel's been a friend for a long time, still owes me some money, still trying to get it. But I don't know, man. If Daniel Spencer sat there and badmouthed any of my friends that I worked with, it would be Daniel's last show, because Daniel will be the first to tell you that he's not qualified to say what kind of wrestler Lance Storm was, or maybe any of the wrestlers that I managed was, or maybe, well, Sylvester Turkey wasn't a draw. Well, Sylvester Turkey was a very nice addition to OVW. He was huge in Japan. Name me the show that any of us listening tonight were big stars on in Japan. He was as big a star in Japan as you got, as the Predator. And
I mean, I can give you my opinion as a fan, but as
you're entitled to that. You're entitled to an opinion as a fan, but for him to try and qualify, his opinion on what these guys did or didn't accomplish in the business, and you can just say, as a fan, I didn't like him. And Brian Last can even say that, but he never qualifies it as such. He thinks his word means something, that he's qualified to speak. And then Jimmy lets him get by with it. The day that let's say funny, the name would be Rico, but Rico Constantino is a dear friend of mine. He lasted 4 or 5 years in the WWE. If for 1 minute that you ever got on your end of the microphone down there and badmouthed Rico Constantino, number one, it'd be your last show. Number two, I
never would, because I like Rico. He's such a great guy.
I'm just using this as a scenario. Calm down, goddammit. But if you did, there would be hell to pay, and it would be your last show. you would not come on here and badmouth my friends, especially, and I don't know if you were qualified that I'd let you get by with it. These people are friends of Jimmy's. Lance Storm's a friend of his. Lance Russell's a dear friend of his. Jim Ross is a dear friend of his. And on his show, he's letting the co-host of his show, whether he's got the guts to do it in front of Jimmy or not, he's doing it on that other bullshit show he does. And trashing these people. And we've given him way too much time on this show already. But he's not qualified to speak, is what I'm saying. Right. He never worked a day in the business that mattered to a fucking hill of beans that his mommy and daddy didn't pay for. Guys like me who got into the business because we loved it, because we cared about it, didn't get in because we were rich, unlike Cornette.
And technically, I've done more in wrestling business.
Didn't have money. I don't know he'd ever got in because the boys hated him.
And I've done more in the wrestling business than he has. Me and you did a show together in 2003.
I would say you have. I'd say
you're refereed matches. So yeah, it's happened.
I'd say you're more qualified. There's two guys getting all excited.